What's up, guys? You're here with me sharpening a customer's knife, uh, the Thor 153 on YouTube. He sent me 5 knives to do, and I quoted him the price way before I knew exactly how long it was going to take me, so I charged him less than $50 to do 5 knives, which now if I did 5 knives would be closer to 100. But I'm a man of my word. I will not go against my word regardless. That may sound crazy to some of you, but it's just something that's been instilled in me from a kid. So I'm going to do his knives. I'm going to do the best I can on them and get them super stupid sharp. I've already set the bevel with a 120 grit Edge Pro stone just so I could save the lower grit Chosera stones. I don't want to wear them out. So I'm going to go progress up through the grits with the Chosera stone. Set the bevel at 36 degrees inclusive, which is one of my favorite angle settings. As you can see, that's the 120 grit edge. Very coarse. Very, very coarse. So what we're going to do is run up through the grits and get this dude's pair of 2 sharp. The Thor is a super nice guy. He actually sent me some goodies in the package. Made me and my fiance some lanyards for our backpacks and stuff. He included a couple big copper coins, buffalo penny. Just really, really cool stuff, and I really appreciate that. I actually have one of the blue lanyards he made me match my North Face backpack perfectly, the one I use for school. So I put that on there just as soon as we opened the package. Super nice guy. Glad to be doing his knives. Hope he likes them. This is the weirdest pair of 2 I've ever seen. It's actually Duracoated, I think. But the handle scales are Duracoated. I think they're black underneath, and he has kind of like a khaki Duracoat on here. It looks sweet. What I'm doing right here is just marking the actual edge, so that I know what I'm doing on the edge, and it doesn't matter if you mark on the blade, it just wipes off super easily. So did that to adjust for any width or thickness disparities in the stones. What you do is you have a little collar here, and your first stone you butt it up against this piece right here, tighten it down, so each time you change stones, these are all new, so they're all the same thickness, but as they progressively get worn, I'm going to have to lift this up, set it on that collet, drop it down, and that will that will adjust for the different heights of the stones. So I'm using the 400 grit Chosera, and I'm just looking to form a sizable burr. Not sizable. I don't want it to be big, and I'm trying to keep out of the way here. I don't want the burr to be big because I want to save as much material as I can. This is a customer's knife, so he doesn't send the knife to me to have 2 years of its life taken off. So I'm trying to preserve as much metal as I can. I've already done 2 of his knives, and I'm kind of acquainted with the Chosera stones now. They are just so different than the stock stone. Anybody that has an Edge Pro that has been thinking about getting the Chosera stones, go ahead and do it, because they're honestly light years ahead of the stock Edge Pro stones. They are light years ahead of it. I'm going to go ahead and skip the 600 grit stone and go straight to the 1000 grit. That's another thing about these. You can skip grits because they cut so aggressively. You could just go ahead and skip a grit and there's no ill effects. This 1000 grit Chosera almost gives a better polish than the 3000 does. which is kind of strange, but sometimes it works out that way. This knife did have a chipped tip. I'm not sure he was aware of that, but part of the chip or the tip was actually chipped off, so I brought it back. So that's another part of my service. If you have damaged blades, then I can actually bring them back from that damage. I want to show you the edge at this 1000 grit Chosera. It's actually beautiful. You see it? It's on its way to becoming mirror polished. Actually, if I stopped here, most people would call that a mirror polish. But it's not as high as it can go, so we're going to take it there. I hope that I'm not in the way of this thing. I really hope not, but it's a possibility. Alright, done with a 1000 grit. It's just that fast. Now the stock stones are not that fast, so don't think that this whole time I've been going through it this fast. These Chosera stones do allow me to do it a little bit faster. But I took out the most time-consuming part, and that's setting the bevel. So the rest of this normally goes fairly quickly. I do not count my strokes. What I do is I kind of have it in my head how much time each section of the blade needs, just based on burr size. This just comes from over a year of using the Edge Pro. Just a natural kind of inclination to know what the blade needs. And I do tape up each blade, like you see here. People send me their knives to be sharpened, not to be scratched. So I take the utmost care when I do people's blades. With mine, I'm a little bit slack, but they're my own knives, so. Using very light pressure, I'm going to clean any residual burr off so that it has a nice clean edge for the next grit. Going to go ahead and wipe it off. Now most people at this grit, they would think that's as sharp as a knife can get. But it's nowhere near as sharp as a knife can get, as y'all know. This may still have some residual burr left on it, but that 2000 grit edge is extremely sharp. Extremely sharp. Just remember, this is 2000 grit. I go all the way up to 10,000. So I like these Chosera stones. Even at this 2000 grit level, the edge feels super toothy. Like it feels really grabby. It would get into some materials really well. And there you can see the polish. Leaves a very good polish. One of the main advantages of these Chosera stones is the fact that you can get a mirror polish without having to mess with the crappy Edge Pro tapes, the polishing tapes. You actually had to stick a polishing tape onto an aluminum blank, and it's not a good look at all. It just doesn't work that well. Going to go ahead and refine the edge a little bit more. Using light pressure, let the stone do the work. You just let the stone do the work. Now with knives that are a first time Edge Pro recipient, there's always a little portion right here near the ricasso that doesn't get polished as highly. And it's because there's a little bit of metal there that has to be ground away. It's just too much metal to grind away the first sharpening. If I made it shiny there, in other words put a mirror polish there, it would drastically change the width of the blade there. You would have to remove a lot of material, and I don't want to do that. I just want to make the knife sharp. But if somebody requests that I do that, I can. So my whole goal is to make your knife as sharp as possible without scratching it and without reducing its lifespan. So I don't do this on every grit, just these really high ones. I'm just trying to clean up any burr that's on there, because the 10,000 grit stone doesn't do a really good job of cleaning a burr off, just because it is such a high grit. I don't feel like we have a burr on there. I am skipping grits. I went straight past the 3,000. I went from 120 to 400, straight to 1,000, and then to 2,000, then 5,000, and now 10,000. There's greater flexibility in these stones. I could go each step if I needed to or wanted to, but there's no need to at all. I absolutely love these stones. Right now I would be fooling with a polishing tape. By now the tape would already probably be ripped and cut. It's just extremely annoying to mess with those things. So these stones cost me $200, but they're well worth it to me, especially if I get more customers for sharpening. It'll make it worthwhile. So alright, getting about finished. I can still hear a little bit of a burr on there. We want to clean it off. I hope that I wasn't obscuring the camera. I don't have anybody here telling me if they can see what I'm doing, so I hope that I wasn't obscuring the camera. Okay, I think we are about through. How much time? I have 7 minutes left to film. So I'm going to take this tape off. Now normally when I pull off the stones, I still have some work to do with a strop and maybe an ultrafine freehand stone that I clean up the edge a little bit with. Since the angle is so dead locked in on the Edge Pro, sometimes it's hard to clean the burr off because sometimes it'll just flip back and forth. So I'll have to do a little bit of work freehand to clear it off, but maybe that won't happen this time. I'm going to go ahead and show you the 10,000 grit edge. Now that's pretty. That's without any polishing tapes or anything. So that is very, very, very pretty. It's a very pretty edge. I'm going to go ahead and test sharpness. Get you back in focus. Let me grab a piece of paper. Let's see if this 10,000 grit edge did anything good. It is extremely sharp. Absolutely ridiculously sharp. I never got edges this sharp with the stock Edge Pro stones. They always had a burr or just a nasty piece in the edge that I always had to clean up freehand. But these stones are amazing. Just by feel, I would say that maybe just 2 minutes on the strop would clean any last bit of burr that's on there off, and I would have a hair whittling edge. It is absolutely sharp, extremely sharp. If you give me a second. This is without stropping. I've never tried this before, so I'm just curious to see if these stones have what it takes, and it appears they do. That's a TP slicing edge before stropping. After stropping, it's going to be much, much sharper than this. It's still kind of toothy, and that's what the strop clears up, but to be able to slice TP right off of a stone is a pretty amazing feat. I keep hitting the knife on the countertop, so I need to raise it up. It's got a little piece of a burr left over in one spot, but like I said, just a few minutes on the strop and that's all gone. And what you're left with is a hair whittling edge, a verified hair whittling edge. I test all the edges before I put them in the box to be shipped out. So look at that edge. Look how clear that is. I absolutely love these Chosera stones. So, defense and safety. I'm sorry that your knives got done before I got the Chosera stones in. But when you send me the next 5 knives to do, they'll get the benefit of these stones. And the Thor 153, I hope you're happy, man. I only have 2 more of your knives to do, then I'm done. So I should ship them out probably Friday or Monday. So anyway, for you guys that have wanted to see me use the Edge Pro, there it is. I'll probably do more videos later on using it, but I just wanted to do this one real fast. So thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you next time.